It's the Damian Oliver Show, 2 times a week. Yes, we're here. Thank you for tuning in. It's time to get your mind right. We're talking self-improvement. We gotta love on ourselves, no matter what. It's the Damian Oliver Show. Hey guys, good morning, and welcome to the Damian Oliver Show. It's been a great July so far. Hope you guys enjoyed the 4th of July and you had a great time with your family and friends and like a lot of barbecues, right? So, let's get into it. I just wanted to start today with just like saying to you, like, you are blessed, you're powerful. You got to make sure that your mind is always in a great place, no matter what. You got to tap into your mind, into your body, into your soul, and you have to tell yourself, like, look, I am doing okay. I am doing great. It's easy for us to let people kind of like, decide how we feel in certain situations, but we got to allow ourselves to speak more positively into who we are and understand who we are. So this way, when the outside noises seem to be so loud, that you're centered, you're ground in just knowing who you are as an individual. So no matter what may come your way, no matter what criticism, no matter what negativity that comes your way, you'll stand still in your belief system and knowing who your anchor is, and know that to the core of who you are, no one can actually change that, right? So let's focus on just being that empowering to ourselves, and just knowing that we are who we are and nothing can infiltrate or penetrate that, because we're firm in that. But let's start out with today's show. I wanted to take you back in time into 1970. I mean, this was way before my time, right? But it's interesting. I was doing some research and I noticed, like, back in the 1970s, there was a lot that was going on, especially in America. And one of the things that stood out to me was the ugly law of 1970. And the history of this was really an eye opener for me. And I think that, for a lot of you, I'm not sure for you listeners if you're familiar with it, but the ugly law, it's a law that was put in place where the municipalities ordinance enacted in various United States cities started in the late 19th century, with some lasting into the mid 20th century. The aim was to prohibit individuals deemed unsightly or disgusted from appearing in public. This often target people with disability, with severe illness or disfigurement. The intent was to maintain public order and honesty standard, reflecting societal prejudice against those who did not conform to certain physical norms. I can't really tell you how disgusted I am with this law, that it even existed, especially in a country like the United States. But, the cool thing is that they've learned that, discrimination and, I guess understanding that we're all different at some point, and we have to embrace people differences. I don't think that if we had, an option, we want to stand out like a sore eye for a lot of people, right? So disability is just that. They can't control it. Difference is it's the same thing. So I'm happy that they came to their senses. But the impact of this law, though, these laws reinforce social stigma and discrimination against people with disability and other physical differences. Obviously, disgusting. They limited the freedom of visibility of affected individual, often forcing them into isolation and poverty. So think about the emotional and physical aspect of this type of law. Like, this law put a lot of people in, I'm assuming, like a lot of, mental discomfort and dealing with like a lot of mental issues, knowing that, you're different. There's nothing much that you could change about yourself, but that you have to be forced into isolation. However, the law, was repealed. Um, the last known ugly law was repealed in Chicago in 1974. Their repeal was part of the border movement towards the civil rights and the recognition of the rights of individuals with disabilities. Shout out to the civil rights movement, because this kind of just changed and made everything a lot more, in your face, and showing that people needs equality and people have right to. It doesn't matter where you are from, how you look, your color, your skin. All these things we need as humans is our right to be who we are and to be heard and to be seen. Now let's tap into just slavery, because I find that this is like a really strong, contrast to the ugly law and also to slavery, right? And as we know, like slavery in the United States begins in the early 1700s and continue until the Civil War, with Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 and the 13th Amendment in 1865 abolishing slavery. It was an institutionalized system where African Americans were forcibly taken from their homes, sold, and subjected to forced labor and dehumanization. The purpose was economical exploitation and maintaining a racial hierarchy, with enslaved people providing labor without compensation. You work, and was not being compensated, and just not treating like humans, not having any rights, similar to those individuals with that disability, right? You're isolated. You're looked at as less than. The impact of slavery, however, as we know, slavery has its devastating effects on millions of African Americans, include physical and psychological abuse, family separation, deprivation of basic human rights. It established a legacy of systematic racism and inequality that persisted long after abolishment of slavery and affected subsequent generation. So this became a generational thing. The abolishment of slavery was a significant step towards civil rights, but did not immediately eliminate racial discrimination. And a lot of people still deal with this racial discrimination, even right now where we are in the 2000s, right? However, the legacy of slavery includes ongoing racial disparity in wealth, education, employment, and criminal justice, amongst other areas. Comparing the two, both the ugly law and slavery were based on deep-seated prejudice and societal norms that devalue certain group of people. Each system enforced discrimination through legal means, marginalizing and controlling the targeted population. And some of the social impact, right? The ugly law started to control public spaces by excluding individuals who did not meet certain physical standard. Slavery started to control the labor and lives of African Americans for economic gains and to uphold racial hierarchy. The ugly law was abolished, while both important legal milestones for the fighting of human rights and equality. Despite their repeal, the effects of these discriminatory practice lingers, and they contributed to ongoing social and economical challenges for the affected group even today. So, the moral of the story is that we have to, stand up for what we believe in. We got to believe in ourselves. And I know we can't really compare, slavery and the ugly laws, but for me, the connection was just the fact that a group of people decided that, look, let's go ahead and target a specific group of people, right? Whoever those key leaders were, and put these things into law and, rob people from just being who they are, their joy, and just kind of like disrupt that whole community and hold that group of people at a low standard compared to the rest of society just because, I can never get with that. So stay in knowing who you are, stay in knowing that you are strong despite any naysayers, despite any type of, negativity that comes your way. We have to get to a point where we know who we are, and this is where you're going to stand. So until next time, it's the Damian Oliver Show. See you soon.